an emeritus presiding officer for ECOSOCC. I think I have to associate with ECOSOCC more here than anything because it's successfully done this. Thank you very much. But I also come from Uganda at the Center for Basic Research. So I have a couple of points. One is I think what we have to realize is that this framing of the discourse around being given, I think is an issue. So one of the things we have to do is to reframe the language so that we don't talk about being given, because all African member states are member states of the UN. So we should find a way in which we are not talking about being given as if there is somebody who owns the UN and then the Africans are just getting. So that's one thing we need to do. But also, I realize that the discussion here can very quickly turn into a self-bashing game where we say Africa has too many problems, unless we solve it, we shouldn't do anything else. The other day, we had a sister of ours who gave us this analogy of, flying the plane as we build it. I think this is where we are, that like it or not, there will be issues to solve on this continent, but there will be global issues to pay attention to. The issues around conflicts, poverty, bad leadership, blah, blah, we have to solve them. But that doesn't mean that we must first solve those before we become real players in the UN. So I guess that for me, that's an issue, which is to say, let's see how to solve those issues on the continent, but also engage. Lastly, I think since we are talking as civil society organizations here, I think the ECOSOCC has a very interesting infrastructure that was put up, which is one that is able to create a footprint across every member state of Africa. I think it's time to do that. I hear the decision was agreed to today, because I wasn't there. But if we could do that, so that the discussions on how the AU operates, how citizens organize around these strategic questions that are not about one country, can start happening in an infrastructure that has linkages to the AU that then can have linkages to the UN. I think what is missing is that, civil society can do small projects, but if you do not have like a country chapter of ECOSOCC that is strong enough to bring together a collective voice, it becomes very difficult to create the meaningful change that we want. So I think, William, this is a practical thing that we must do to create that footprint, both here and in the diaspora, because the diaspora, we know they are still working on the framework and all that, but I think that needs to happen, but also the continental footprint, so that these questions, we can start saying, citizens, can we agree? That will mean also doing some localizing. Localizing meaning that we have to be able to say, okay, what does this seat on the Security Council mean in the village that I come? I just thought about one proverb in Uganda where we say, ataliwo tagwirwa muti, meaning that if you're not there, the tree cannot fall on your head. So if we use such a proverb, yes, people will connect that, yeah, being in the Security Council is important because, yeah, if the tree has to fall on us, let it fall on us because we are all there, or something like that. But localizing this discussion will also be important. But I wanted to just give a few of those. Thanks.